Hello and welcome to another video on Samean 7 Sanctuary. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the magic of stillness. And stillness is something that a lot of us seem to struggle to find in our day-to-day lives. And when you first think of stillness, you think it's essentially doing nothing, which really it is. So if stillness is doing nothing, then how can that be magic? What's so magic about doing nothing? In this video, that's what I'm going to be going into. So if you're curious about what I've got to say about it, then carry on watching. Well, in this day and age, it's really common for people to need that constant stimulation to keep going. And for people that are probably a similar age to me, under the age of 30, they more than likely grew up on social media. And when you grow up on social media, obviously speaking from personal experience, you get caught in this loop of constantly wanting to check your social media, see what's going on, kind of connect with the world, see if you have any notifications or messages. And a lot of the time you'll find yourself in your spare time just browsing through Facebook or Instagram and putting your phone down, and 5 or 10 minutes later picking it up again and doing exactly the same thing. And if it's not browsing on Facebook or social media, then it's going to be watching something on Netflix or watching a film or playing the computer. And none of those things are bad, and you need that downtime in your life. But as always with everything, balance is key. And when our minds are constantly being stimulated and they're constantly seeking external stimulation, that throws off the balance. For example, when we wake up in the morning and we immediately check our phones and we immediately start browsing through social media, or we just start watching something on TV. From the minute that we wake up in the morning to the moment that we go to bed, lying in bed, browsing social media, it's all the time that we're constantly stimulating our minds. And that's where the balance gets thrown off, because we have no downtime. Our minds have no downtime. And it's something that we're not really aware of because we're not really used to doing anything different. And we've been doing it for so long. We've been doing something a certain way for so long. Our bodies and our minds and our routines are used to doing these things on a day-to-day basis. And what that does is that it puts your mind in a place where it can't be still. And it constantly thinks and it constantly seeks something. So when you relate that to anxieties and depression, it creates a perfect relationship as to why these problems seem to arise. And when you think about it and when you understand it truly, it's problems that we just create for ourselves, essentially out of nothing. And when it's something that's self-inflicted, it makes you question, are we really doing the right things? Are we really doing our mental health justice? Are we really helping ourselves? And the statistics for depression, anxiety are completely ridiculous. If you look on the World Health Organization, obviously everyone knows about the World Health Organization now, you can find that depression is, as they say, a common mental disorder, and globally it affects more than 264 million people of all ages. And it's also a leading cause of disability worldwide. And also, if you take a look at the Mind website, which is an organisation in the UK, a lot of people would have heard about it in the UK, but you can check out their statistics as well. And they say that 1 in 6 people will report experiencing a mental health problem like anxiety and depression, and that's in any given week. And the list literally goes on and on. There's so many different statistics out there that you can find that just shows how severe this issue is. So obviously it's a big deal. Obviously it's something that we need to address. Everyone seems to be going through these problems, and none of these solutions that they talk about from the doctor's point of view, or the World Health Organization, or even Mind, all of these big organizations, none of them talk about stillness. They just talk about the problems, and they say go to a doctor or call a helpline to talk it through. But really, all the answers are always within us. With absolutely everything, they're always within us. So coming back to the magic of stillness and why I think it's magic and why it is magic, the reason I say that is because you essentially can cure certain mental disorders that we have through finding stillness, through finding nothing. You're essentially finding a cure from nothing. Obviously, we can't constantly be in a state of stillness, so it's not an immediate quick fix to some of the problems that we have. And obviously some severe problems are going to need more than just finding stillness. But for the general person who goes through daily anxiety of just worries about work and worries about just day-to-day things, allowing our minds to find that stillness and be in that moment of stillness can essentially train them to be in that state on a more regular basis. And when you're in that state on a more regular basis, everything quietens down. Everything just kind of comes down a level, and you can see things for what they really are, and you can approach all these difficulties and these struggles with a completely different mindset and a completely different perspective, without the worry, without the fear. And if you look at a direct quote from the NHS website, their description of anxiety is a feeling of unease, such as worry or fear. And that's exactly what it is, worry or fear. So if I was to define that in my own words, I'd say that anxiety is essentially something that's happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future. So things that haven't even happened yet. And that's what's creating these mental issues and these mental problems. And the simple logical solution to fix that is be present. Be present and still in the moment. All we have is the moment. The things that have happened in the past, they're gone. Obviously, they might dictate a bit of the future, but really worrying about something that's happened in the past or worrying about something that's not even happened yet in the future, it's all unnecessary worry and fear that are a result of our minds constantly being overactive and constantly thinking. If you're present in the moment, how can you worry about something? How can you worry about something that hasn't happened yet or that's happened in the past? If you're present in the moment, all you have is the moment. Your thoughts are in the moment. You're observing, you're being. You're doing nothing but being. You're not worrying, you're not panicking. There's no fear. All you're doing is allowing the flow of life to happen. And there's no struggle. You're just flowing through life as you always will, as you always have. The things that you were worried about in the past before, they're gone now. You know that you've done that. That's why they're not a worry to you anymore, because you've been through that. And it always happens. Life just goes on. And that's why finding stillness in your day-to-day life can be so important, so detrimental to our mental health. And it's something that just isn't talked about for some reason. It's like it's not a thing, and the answers are always external and they're always something other than within us. How can we expect the answers to be something that isn't within us when we create the problems in ourselves? It just doesn't make sense. And that's why I want to talk about it in this video, because I just want to create a different perspective and a different understanding of how our minds work and how our brains work, and how over time, without realizing, we've been conditioned to think in a certain way and to act in a certain way. And a lot of the time we're just on autopilot and we don't even realize it. And I'm not saying stillness is going to magically fix all of these issues that we have in our day-to-day lives. But I know for a fact, and I will put money on it, that finding stillness will definitely help our day-to-day lives. If we all had stillness in our lives and we all practice stillness on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, I guarantee the numbers of anxiety and depression in people would fall drastically, massively. I guarantee it. And it's the same with everything we do. So things that we do on a day-to-day basis, say if we're practicing something, say if we play football, say if we go to the gym, say if we're learning a language, if we do that every single day, compounding that over time, that's how we learn to essentially master that or improve that skill. So if we practice stillness every day, our mind's a muscle. We know that. We train our mind. We train our mind to do all these things. Why don't we train it to be still? Why don't we train it just 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, just being still? What could that do for our health? You don't need no pills. You don't need no magic medicine. All you need is yourself and just to find stillness. And that's why it's magic, because it's within us, we just can't see it. It's essentially created out of nothing. All we're doing is nothing. Try it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Try and find stillness in your life for, say 1 week. 1 week. I'll give you 1 week to try and find stillness. And if you find stillness and then it benefits you, then let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.